We're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the building an Ayuwoki video. In this video, of course, this is part two of this series. We're going to build the armature and the costume. We're going to add the costume to the armature. I, of course, am Thomas Rengstorff. I built this Ayuwoki monster more than 10 years ago. I built it for my cousin, Thomas Rengstorff. If you have any questions for my cousin, I can relay those for you. We talk often. Anyway, or if you have any questions for me, put them in the chat below. I have Siren there on camera and technical. Say hello, Siren.
Hello.
All right. How many people we got on? Two. Whoa. Anyway, so today we're going to start building the armature here. Now, last time we built the base and we added these floor flanges here at the bottom, and we added two of these pipes. These pipes are called nipples. No giggling. Anyway, so the next thing you got to do is the shoes. These are canvas tennis shoes, sneakers. And the toughest part of the shoes is you have to put a hole in them. You have to put quite a big hole in them. And this hole is about 1.5 inches. You got to be able to slide it over the pipe. And then, so what I do is I drill this out. And Siren, my drill's in the other room. Can you grab it? It's by the other computer in the robot room.
Yeah.
And so we're going to, since I've already cut this hole here, we're going to just drop it on. Now you got to put the shoes on and the pants on before you assemble the rest of it, or you'll never get the pants on because they'll be locked. Because the feet will be stuck on the bottom here. Thank you, Siren. So what I used was a 1.5 to a 1.25 inch spade bit. These are called spade bits, and they work really well for drilling large holes. In other words, I took the shoe and I drilled a hole right through it. So you need to do that for both shoes. And then what I do after that is I stuff some cotton into the shoe to fill it out so it's not flat. It's got to look like a Siren, can you adjust the camera? Thank you. So it's got to look like somebody's foot is in there. Next step is the pants. I have the pants back here with the jacket. Oh, by the way, the parts are in another video. I made a video last night. I posted it to my channel. It says Ayuwoki parts. Look for that video if you need a description of all the parts you need to build this thing. So these are pants. These ones here are size 36 length and 30-inch waist. They're this size so they fit this robot. You can vary that. So the next thing is remove my coffee. Oh, by the way, this is my coffee mug. This is my favorite coffee mug for us robot builders. It says, "I just want to drink coffee and build robots." I found it on eBay, or was it Amazon? Well, one of those two. on with the pants. Again, remember, you have to put the pants and the shoes on long before you do the top. Otherwise, you'll never get them on. Don't worry about a little bit of dust. You can clean that off later. Okay, we've got the pants and the shoes on. And the next step is we need to put the waist shelf in, the waist piece. This is a piece of wood. You got to cut it. It's 14 inches this way, 8 inches this way. For those of you who do metric, you can convert it and leave it in the comments. And then you have to drill a hole dead center long ways here. And the hole has to be 7/8 of an inch. You have to drill 2 of them. And basically something like that, right through. Of course, I've already drilled these. Now, when you cut these, the edge will be rather sharp. You don't want a sharp edge. You want a round edge. You can even make it oval, but it doesn't need to be. What I do to round the edge often is I take a file and I file off the edges. And then to make it smooth for the hand, I use a bit of sandpaper. All right, to support this shelf, we put on one of these. This is a coupling, a 1/2 inch pipe coupling. I got 2 of them. And we're going to put them right up the top. Now, you're going to want to tighten everything down with a wrench, a pipe wrench, since these are pipes. The next thing we're going to do is put 2 of these on. These are called nipples again. No funny jokes about nipples. And these are 1.5 inch, again by a 1/2 inch wide. They're close threaded. They just go right in the top here. And on top of that, we're going to put 2 washers. These are 3/4 inch washers. Again, the parts are all in that other video I made last night. And they just go right on top. Now the waist shelf, also known as the waist plate, then sits right on top. Now you can make this shelf oval if you have a saw that can cut that, but I didn't. And this is just the easier way to do it. That goes right on top. And be aware that it's very important that you I think that's not the way it goes. We have to reverse this. Gotta do it the other way. Just a second. It goes that way. The washer first. Okay, there we go. Washer first. That's the funny thing about doing things live. You can make mistakes. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to put more washers on top of on top of the plate here. I'm going to move this down so you can see it better. 2 washers on top of the plate here, right there. Got to have that ceiling camera installed. Siren, when are you going to get around to that? 2 more unions, 1/2-inch unions, right on top. Tighten it up with your pipe wrench. Two more nipples. These are 12-inch black steel nipples by 1/2 inch again. I'm sure there's some metric equivalent. You can look that up. Okay. Now, for the top piece, we're going to use T's, 2 T's. Now, an armature like this can be used for a lot of different kinds of robots or stand-up monsters. And these just go on top like this. What was that? You don't want to make them too tight because you want to be able to adjust the arms in and out a little bit. How are we on time, Siren?
It's 1:13.
1:13. We're doing very well. Any questions?
Nope.
No questions. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is put on the pipe. This is 6-inch nipples for the arms. And I don't use a full pipe to go all the way down the arms. You don't need to. You can if you wish, of course. And at the end of these, we put these 45-degree elbows. This is where your arms will go.
Dad, you're in the camera. Thomas, you're in the camera.
Again, don't make them too tight. You want to be able to adjust them.
There's a question. Is there any cheaper options for the head?
Well, do you want your head to move around and act weird and strange? Do you want your head to be lifelike and scare the hell out of your friends? If the answer to that is yes, you want it lifelike, there is no other option for the head. You can use a mannequin head, and I have used mannequin heads, but it'll be static and it won't move at all. Yes, you can, but you lose all the benefits of having an animatronic monster that moves and scares the hell out of your friends. All right. So next up, the top shelf here. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit. You want to put it in the right position. And you can see it's at a slight angle here. And it can move, so the arm can move. And here too. The next thing, of course, is the top shelf that supports the animatronic bust. If you're not using the Elvis here, this is the Elvis Presley bust that you can see in the parts list. If you're not using that one, and yes, they're expensive. You can find them online between about $100 and $800. It's all over the board. I was there last night. I looked all over, between $800 and as low as $100. Again, washer, short nipple, 1.5 inch. Same as before. Siren, can you adjust the camera a little bit? Thank you. And then we put the bust support shelf, or the top shelf, as I sometimes call it. Now, this piece of wood here is 19 inches from top to bottom by 10 inches wide. I drew a line down the center. Siren? Thank you.
You can't see.
I drew a line down the center. These holes have to be 10 inches apart. Again, the same as these. It has to be 10 on the bottom, 10 in the middle, and 10 on the top. So it lines up. If otherwise, it won't line up. And this has to come in at an angle. And ideally, yes, it would be round, but I didn't bother with that. So I just measured 5 inches up, drew a line 2 inches from the center of that, and then shave that off on all 4 sides. Again, I rounded the corners and sanded. I'll put that by the camera here. So you cut the piece of wood 19 by 10 inches. You measure out from the center line. And I'm going to measure that now. From the center, that's 4 inches. 4 inches from the exact center of the board. You draw a line here. And at the end of the board, you draw a line here, 2 inches off of here, 5 inches here. 5 inches, 5 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and you lop off the corners. The idea is to make it fit with the bottom of your animatronic bust. I've got another bust off camera. I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to show you how that works. This is what they look like. This is what they look like when they're all stripped down. The bottom is oval. This panel fits more or less right under the bottom. That's the idea. You want to have the shelf match the animatronic figure. So now that this is all cut out and we got 2 holes, 10 inches apart, we're going to put this up on top. 2 more washers. And we're just going to the last thing on the top is these caps. These are 1/2 inch pipe caps. And they just go on top to hold everything down. You can see how that works. And again, tighten them up with your wrench. You don't want it falling apart. Okay, at this point, we are finished with the armature. Again, this big boy is called the armature. Can you bring the camera down a little bit? So at this point, we're going to put the pants on. Just bring them up around the waist plate, the waist shelf, Again, you might want to make this oval so it fits better, but it's going to be covered by the jacket, so you really won't see it. Now that we've got the pants on, next comes the jacket. Now these are just a pair of standard men's dress pants. Nothing fancy about these. This is the Michael Jackson military costume, military jacket costume. Now this is one of the cheaper ones. Some of them come with real buttons. The original Ayuwoki had the ones with the real buttons. Those are harder to find now. But needless to say, this will do just fine. We drape it over the top. Put the pipe in the armhole.
It's backwards.
Siren is telling me that this is backwards. Thank you, Siren. Live broadcasting, where you can make mistakes. What would I do without you, Siren? Okay, and we're going to drape the jacket over the pants so it hangs loosely, and it's all set now. I put a little pin here to close this up to hide the armature. The other jacket with all the buttons would do better. This jacket is open with a V-neck. If I were to do it again, I would buy the original jacket with the buttons on it. I'd have to find that. This was 10 years ago that I made this original monster. 10 years, and the parts have changed. And not because I wanted them to change, they're just not available anymore. So, the next step. Shoes, pants, pipes, coats. Any other questions before I continue? Where are we on time?
6 minutes left.
6 minutes left. Well, with 6 minutes left, I'm not going to go into the animatronic today, but I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to do next week. This is the animatronic that was in the original Ayuwoki, also known as My Ghoul Jackson. And it's an Elvis Presley. And yeah, they sing and talk. And that's pretty amazing too. But I bought a bunch of them and I just was thinking, what else can I do with this thing? Because the head turns and moves and the mouth opens and closes. And to convert this for our purposes is a lot of work. It's going to take us probably a half hour or more by itself. These things come in a large box. You'll see it on my other video. And, geez. And we'll go into that next week. Oh, there is one thing we can do this week. Almost forgot. So you have your pool noodle. We're going to put the arms on it. So they're short. It ends about at the shoulder. So we're going to use this pool noodle to extend the arms. And what we do is we cut the pool noodle in half. And the pool noodle is going to use the gloves, the glitter gloves here. Now, you can stuff some cotton, again, into the gloves to fill them out like a real hand. And that's what I did here. I've got cotton in each finger to fill it out like a real hand. Now this doesn't fit well in here. It kind of looks kind of funny. So what I tend to do is I tend to cut it so it's shaped more like a hand. I'll cut off about that much on an angle. You say, well, that doesn't look like a hand, but once you put it in the glove, it's a whole lot better fitting now. And I cut that back about 4 inches. And at its narrowest, it's about an inch. These pool noodles are about 2 1/4 inches wide. Yours doesn't have to be exact. These are just your standard pool noodles, foam noodles you get at most pool stores.
Is Messerschmitt a German name?
Yes, Messerschmitt is a German name. Our family is known for its fighter planes in World War II. But our Messerschmitts came over long before World War II. We were here in the 1800s. So we're going to take the second pool noodle, which fell to the ground. We're going to match it to the first pool noodle to make sure it's the same. We're going to cut it. Again. So now we have 2 gloves, both with cotton, and we're going to put the gloves on the pool noodle. Now, we need to hold these on somehow so they don't fall off. I use zip ties. Zip ties can be bought online at most places. Home Depot has them, Lowe's has them, Amazon has them, eBay has them. These are a little small. Okay, so there you go. You can even use a rubber band. So there you go. It's not going to fall off. I got the zip tie right here.
Got some hair caught in it.
Yeah. I'll do the same to the other one.
It's 1:30, so
That's fine. We're going to end off in a minute. We're just going to finish this. We have the second glove. I haven't put the stuffing in it yet, so I'm not going to attach the zip cord, the zip to this either. All right, so now that we got the 2 arms, we're going to attach it to the torso. You bring it, expose it so the pipe's sticking out there. You put your right arm here. You put it over the pipe. Now, since the pipe is so big, you really don't need to zip tie it. And now you bend it a little bit because you want the arm looking natural. And you pull the jacket over the top. And it's looking creepier every minute. I had a question on one of my other videos as to whether my Ayuwokis ever go on randomly. Do they come on unexpectedly and scare me? Well, I'd like to tell you yes, but Here on my channel, we're all about science. And science says if there's no electricity, motors don't turn on. Although one time I had put it in my wife's closet, and it scared the hell out of her. She jumped and screamed, and she said, "Take this godforsaken thing out of my closet and put it back in your robot room." I tried not to laugh. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to take the pool noodle with the glove on it and fit it right over the pipe, the elbow, and we're going to pull the sleeve right down. And as we go, you can see it's creepier and creepier. Now we have a headless Ayuwoki here. All right, my friend. Any questions before we end off today? We're just about running out of time, and we're finished. Next week will be the animatronic head. That's going to sit right on top of there. That's going to move around and animate our monster. And for those of you who have asked me, how can we get the original mask? I've been searching high and low for that original mask. They're not making it anymore. One thing that, yes, my hand's in there. One thing that I've looked into is having somebody else recreate the original Ayuwoki mask. I don't know. He wants $100 per mask. I don't know if it's worth it. We have a question.
How will you mute the head?
That's a great question. We're going to open it up and cut the wires for the speakers. There's speakers inside the head. We're going to cut the wires. Pop, 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 pop. 4 wires, we're done. That's why it's going to take some time to do that. It's probably going to take 30 minutes or more. Any other questions before we go?
No.
All right. This is Thomas Messerschmidt and my friend here, Mr. Ayuwoki, bidding you a good day, a good week, and we'll catch you next week for part 3 of this series. Take care. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Any questions about parts, look at the other video. There's a parts video. I will put a link to it in this video so you can find it easily. I'll do that in about a half hour after this broadcast ends. Last chance. Last chance for questions before we sign off. All right. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great week.
And